Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So we are jumping in for a daily race B today at Road Atalanta in the Group 4, dominated by the WRX. We are of course going with our Nissan GTR, trying something a little bit different from the Meta car. We'll see what we can do. Repping the Bulldog livery there, looking pretty sick. So while I've got you here before the race, now would be a great time to smash that like button and subscribe so that you never miss a video. But let's get into this race. It was a slow burner, but it got interesting towards the end. So I've got 3 races for you today. Coming over the line here, we're going to go a bit defensive against this Alfa Romeo. Of course, a decent shout for this Alfa Romeo in the race. However, you're going to see later on that it just doesn't have the legs. It's good for acceleration, but there are no real acceleration points on Road Atalanta, so it's not the best. You want to stick with your big beefy 4-wheel drives for this one. So as we come through here, we're going to see a Subaru and a Nissan GTR going very wide. Now interestingly, the Nissan is going to pick up a penalty, but the Subaru isn't. So we don't want to lose any time, so we're going to fling it out the inside. We tried to take both of them, but the Frenchman did cover it off, so we're going to wait for him to go wide at the next corner. And that is going to be us through to P4. So now we're fast forwarding to the start of lap 2, where they're going to go 3 wide through turn 1. That's not going to work, as the Subaru, the lime green Subaru, is going to go off into the grass, and that's going to leave us in P3. We have quite a different mix of cars up ahead actually. We have a Alfa Romeo leading, and then we have the Mercedes SLS. So an interesting choice of cars. As we go wide here, we're just going to pick up a 0.5 second penalty. Or are we not? No, we're actually not going to pick up a penalty. I thought that was very wide. However, the Alfa Romeo behind is going to get a very good run on us. Now, of course, the Alfa does have very good acceleration, as I said before. However, you're going to see here, as he pulls up alongside us, briefly taking 3rd place from us. Just going to see the Nissan GTR very superior in terms of top end. So we're going to go easily back past. Get it slowed down here for the last chicane. Make sure we park it in a awkward place so that the Alfa cannot find a way past. And that's going to be P3 again obtained. So we're going to make sure we solidify P3. You just see the Alfa there backing off quite a bit, trying to get the run, but he doesn't have the grunt of the GTR. So we're going to hold this position. And now we can just focus on the SLS up ahead. We have a 2-second gap to make up. We just need to nail these S-bends and then coming through this sweeping corner. Get a good run, which we have done. 2.1 now, the gap stands to the SLS up in front. And the gap always increasing between the Alfa Romeo and of course a Subaru now taking over from the Alfa. So that is going to increase the gap to about 1.5. So we've got a nice breather behind. We can just focus on the SLS. Now as we move to the final lap, of course there is only 6 laps in this race, of course daily race B being the shorter version. So we're right up behind this SLS. However, the SLS does have, seems, incredibly good straight line speed. So although we've closed up that gap from about 2.5 to under half a second, we're just not going to be able to make the move, and we are going to come home in a very comfortable P3. So not a bad result. Went up a couple of places in that one. Moving now to race 2. where we decided to go for another four-wheel drive, the Mitsubishi Lancer. Got a better qualifying time, so we're starting a bit higher up. We're starting in 4th position. Now with the Mitsubishi Lancer, I found that it had all the good aspects of the four-wheel drive. So you got the power, you got the acceleration, really good. Traction of course is also incredibly good on this car. The only downside that I could find with this Mitsubishi Lancer was the turning. The initial turning, I found it really difficult to get it turned. See, they're just having a bit of a slide through that corner. And we're going to go up the inside here of the TCR driver. He has a penalty, so we don't want to lose any time. We want to catch up to P2. So we have a Subaru up in front. We have another Subaru right behind him. We have a Subaru behind us. And I think the top 6, maybe even more, were all in Subarus. So we are definitely the odd one out in this one. But we'll see what we can do. It had decent pace, but you can really tell that the Subaru is a lot better at turning in. That's where I'm losing all of my time. I have to slow down so much in these corners. As you see, the leader there getting it all kinds of wrong going into the chicane, and that's going to give him a 0.5 second penalty. So if we can keep in touch with the top 2, we have a decent gap behind us. So we just need to keep in touch and we should be able to overtake during that penalty, but that is not actually going to matter because he's going to be visiting the grass. A little bit of contact between the two and he is off, never to be seen again. Actually, he is to be seen again. He went down to 4th place, so we didn't lose too much time, but still, it's enough. So now we can just focus on trying to catch the Brit up ahead. Get a really good exit out of that corner. We're right on the back. He's going to go defensive. Fair play. We're going to try around the outside here. It's not going to work. So we're going to try and get the cut back. Parking it semi-defensive there. So we're going to try and get the cut back out of the last corner before the main straight. We do have the run. We're right in the slipstream, but we have to decide early here. And I decide to go out of the slipstream so that I can come back in, go up the inside. So that was a pretty good move by me, just faking out towards the outside, coming back in for the slipstream. However, we have to brake so early for that chicane, so we're going to try and get a good exit again out of the last chicane. Not going to use the slipstream yet. We're going to go into the slipstream now. He goes defensive, so we have to go to the outside. Pretty good defense so far. Coming into the first corner, try and get the cut back, but he has the better exit. I'm going to follow him up the hill. He's swerving all over the place. How to keep control of his vehicle. Follow as close as we dare down here through the S section. Getting right onto the bumper. We have to back out so we can see the apex. That's going to give us a poor run actually going up this hill. And that's actually going to invite the Dutchman to go up the outsides, which puts me off a little bit. I go into the back of P1 and the Dutchman gets the old switcheroo. Nicely played there by the Dutchman. Of course, in the Subaru as well. We do seem to get the better exit out of the final corner before the long straight. Now I'm trying to get the slipstream of P1 here, so I'm swerving a little bit, trying to get that slipstream. However, we do outbrake him, but we also outbrake ourselves. We have to get out the throttle here so that we don't go into the side of the Dutchman. And now we have to try again. So the leader has pulled out a 1.5 gap, 1.5 seconds gap. So we have to try and make up that time. And as you can see here on the next lap, they're going side by side. I have a 0.5 second penalty. So we're going to lose yet another position to the Alfa Romeo. The Italian goes up on the straight. They're still going side by side into the last chicane. And the Dutchman has actually gone up into P1. So we're going to fast forward again here to lap 5 on the long straights. The Dutchman got himself a half-second penalty. So we're going to take that position right back. Thank you very much. And now they're still going side by side. There is a Subaru and an Alfa Romeo battling for P1. The Alfa just having that little bit more acceleration, so that's going to put him alongside. There is contacts, but everyone manages to keep on the track. And the Italian here is going to try around the outside. However, there is contact between him and the Brit. That's going to give me a run up the hill. We're on the inside, we're not backing out of this one. We hit the apex, and that is P2 gained. You can just see behind there, they are going side by side through this S section. That is not going to be the fastest line, so that's going to compromise them. All we have to do is stay right behind this Brit in front, get his slipstream. They're going to be battling behind, so I don't need to worry about them. Try and get a good exit out of this final corner. We have to slow up a little bit, and that's going to give him enough of a gap, I think. As you see, he's managed to get on the power a little bit earlier than I am, because we were all backed up. So coming down the long straights, he's going to go defensive this time. But is it going to be enough? Late swerve. But fair enough, I'll go around the outside. Not going to work, so I'll try the cutback. Try go around on the outside again. He's going to block that off. So that's fair enough, good defense, and I will come home in a P2. So, moving on to race 3, where I decided if you can't beat them, then you must join them. So I am going with the Subaru RRX. We have a Subaru in front, a Subaru behind. So as you can see, this combo really dominated by the Subaru. They really need to work on the bop, I think, in Group 4. It seems very much dominated by either the GTR or the Subaru. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But right now, we have to focus on trying to catch P1. German up ahead did have quite a good qualifying time, so it's going to be difficult to catch up. You just see that we go a little bit wide. That's going to give us a 0.5 second penalty. We have 0.8 seconds to the guy behind, and they are kind of battling a little bit. And the leader here just goes completely off circuit. So we're going to gain that position. However, we are going to lose quite a lot of time and positions due to this penalty, as we have to serve it right now. So the German's going to come through, the Brit's going to come through, and that's going to be us down to P3 yet again. However, the German here doesn't get the best of exits, so we're going to fire it back up the inside, going up the hill. We'll try and take Ron as well, but he's just going to be a little bit too far ahead. We're going to stick our nose up the inside, see if we can force a mistake. Going to brake later, and we are on the inside, but he does turn in as we were just on the apex. So that's going to be bad news for him. Good news for us though, because that's going to back him up into the German. So I'm hoping they're going to battle. That would give us what we need. However, the German has fallen off quite a bit there. So we're going to need to defend from this Brit, who keeps flashing his lights. I'm assuming he's on a controller and hasn't remapped the button for flashing the lights. I made the exact same mistake when I started out as a controllerless player. Which brings me on to a nice little bit of news I have for you. So I am giving up on the controller. Every race you see from here forth will be on my wheel. It is the Thrustmaster T125 or something along those lines. Can't remember the exact model. It is a Thrustmaster, quite a basic, cheap wheel. So that will be my racing setup going forward. We get a little bit of a tap there from the Brit, however that's going to compromise him more than me as he goes off onto the grass. And we're going to fast forward now to the end of the race, where the Brit actually falls back. Now we have the German again behind us, all over our bumper. Gonna look for the good exit out of the final corner and give us the run down the straight. We didn't get the best run, but it's gonna be enough. He is in the slipstream, but he must have missed a gear or something because he's not catching as quickly as you would, being so close behind. So coming into the last corner, we can just take our normal racing line, bring it up the hill, make sure we don't make any mistakes, and that is going to be a P1. So I really like the combo, really like the Group 4 at Road Atlanta. I just wish there was a bit more of a mix of cars that you could use. But that's going to do it for this one. I will see you in the next video. Take care and goodbye.